I have worked for so long in male-dominated fields that I have just learned how to be that direct communicator. I don't switch who I am. I don't soften my message because then I'm not being myself. And I will attract the wrong people who then, when I do show who I actually am, will be like, what? And then like freak out and leave or cancel me or whatever they do these days.
Hello and welcome back to Splitting Seams. My name is Shannon and I am your host. So today's guest is Georgia Nelson from the Fierce Kitten Studio. She is commonly known as Fierce Kittens with a Z, and I had a really good time chatting with her. Georgia is someone who designs bag patterns, but she also has a heavy hand on the tech side of crafting, such as working with lasers, reviewing them, 3D printing, all-in-one tools. Lots of really cool things on the tech side that she can use to kind of help further or expand her sewing side of things, which I find really cool. So this episode was actually Georgia and mine's first conversation. Other than just coordinating for the show, we haven't really had any other like discourse of substance. And so, but I do feel like I knew her because I have consumed a number of her episodes on her seam ripping series on her YouTube channel. If you haven't watched it, I highly suggest that you do. It's a nice breath of fresh air when you get to hear somebody's opinion on something that is highly controversial or considered a taboo subject in the sewing community. That normally is the conversation happens on a Facebook post in the comment section, and there's just a bunch of voices, and you never really get to hear the tone and intention or feeling behind those opinions. And so it's just nice to consume it, I think. It's nice to get yourself exposed to it. It's nice to hear somebody else's perspective from a factual basis first, but then also their opinion. I'm not really sure exactly what it is that I love, if it's not those things, and if it's just not Georgia herself. I really enjoyed our conversation. It was just so nice to get to know her. And again, you get to witness our first conversation. So without further ado, let's get into the show. Hey, Georgia. Welcome to Splitting Seams.
Thank you.
Happy to have you. I know that you have a very busy schedule right now, so I really appreciate you making it work in the time frame that we had. So you are very new to Splitting Seams. You knew it was happening before it released. You haven't consumed any episodes. We're not judging. That is okay. They are a lot, and a lot to binge if you're going the binge route. Yeah. So you're totally new to the show, and so I'm going to have to guide you a little bit. Totally fine. But can you introduce yourself and your little corner of our sewing community?
Yeah. So my name is Georgia Nelson, known online as Fierce Kittens. There's a whole story behind that and my personality flaws and how I got that name. But I am mostly known for Twitch streaming, and I have a YouTube channel that I started to fill the void in my life that is no longer void as much as I thought. Yeah. I have a line of bag patterns that I have designed and worked on over the years. But I've been designing patterns since I was in my early 20s, which is a really long time ago. We're not going to math that one out.
That's fair. That's fair. And so you said you sell bag patterns, but you also sell your finished products too, right?
I do, not as much as I used to. It used to be like I would Twitch stream like 4 or 5 times a week in the evenings after like, I don't even know how I did it. Like I would work all day, then I'd come home, I'd help the kids with homework, I'd cook, I'd clean, and then I'd stream for 2 or 3 hours. Like, I don't know, but I would make a bag and stream, and then it was sold by the time I was done. And, but yeah, I mean, yes, Lulu Dallas, the answer. Yes. I do sometimes have them listed on my website. Just lately, I haven't had a ton.
That's fair. And so you said you do a lot of Twitch, or do you still do a fair amount of Twitch streaming?
I don't. And it's mostly because like it just takes so much out of me, and for very little in return. It's not that I don't enjoy hanging out with people and talking and crafting, but it's very nerve-wracking because you're constantly competing with other people for eyeballs.
Yeah.
And, as a live stream, as opposed to recording on my own time where I can edit the stupid out and put it on YouTube. And then I can kind of just casually watch the metrics go up, you know?
And you're not on a stage while doing all of that at the same time.
Yes.
And so that for me, that's why I don't really do a lot of live streaming. I do one a month, and that is it. Because I can't do the juggling. We have talked with other people in the past who do live sews, and I give you so much credit because, you're trying to sew, you're trying to pay attention, you're trying to be engaging, and you're trying to watch what you say somewhat, you're trying to just play so many roles at once.
Yes, the active filtering is definitely something that will drain you. And after a whole day of active filtering with my full-time job, it's a bit much.
Right.
Yeah.
And so your full-time job, I think you said it was a software engineer?
Yeah.
And can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, let's see. I started out in the game industry. I was in the game industry for 22 years before I moved out of it and into one more of the what the kids call a thing. I work for Microsoft.
Okay.
So I'm a principal software engineer, and I work directly with, larger customers and partners to implement their solutions to help them make their dreams come true.
That sounds like it's way above my pay grade. So,
hey,
I mean, good for you.
I love solving problems. The
same.
sewing and 3D printing and insert other hobbies here is mostly an outlet for me.
A creative outlet.
Yeah. Because sometimes, I'm thinking all day. I'm using my noodle all day to solve problems. So I kind of want something a little more mindless at night.
That's fair. And, you can let your mind explore. And I always think that creative output is extremely important. I've talked about that a number of times in the show. I think it's so important to give yourself an avenue in which to just let out all the other stuff you put in.
Yep.
To me, it's really important. So what about YouTube? You mainly do, I know you do a lot of device reviews. I was thinking about the best way to describe it. It's like machine and devices. It's kind of both of them.
Yeah. And, I really, so I've just been so busy lately that it just looks like I am nothing but an infomercial right now. I want to get back to tutorials because I want to teach. I don't want to be constantly reviewing devices and things. I was recording a 3D printer review just before getting on the call with you. And I don't know. I started out with the full intention of doing lots and lots of tutorials, and then I fell into lasers and 3D printing, which I do on my own anyway.
Right. That's one of your hobbies too, is kind of the tech side of the crafting.
Yeah. See, I'm ADHD, which means I get a lot of hobbies. I hobby collect and
serial hobbyist. I like it.
Yeah, it's a problem, but working through it one therapy session at a time.
Same. That's fair. We dabble in the various devices, but we're in a position now where we know we're moving in a year. We knew moving into this house, we would only be here for a set number of years. We know where we're going to be in a few years. That's going to be our retirement home. And so for me, all the devices and all the machines that I may want, it doesn't make any sense to get it now. One, to move it across country, and two, what if we move and it breaks, then I have to replace it anyway. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I also don't have the space for it either. If I had the space for it, I would love to be able to dabble in lasers, but I have a fear of it being in my home and like all that stuff. So
yeah, no, and that's absolutely a mood. I mean, my big laser's this giant thing that's in the workshop just below here, and like the only reason I can have one of those is because I have a 1-car garage, because my house has like this in-law suite thing. That's totally not an in-law suite, but yeah.
Yeah, I know people put them in their homes, and you know they say you know you have the exhaust and everything and all that stuff, but I'm just like, for me it's not the right time to have it, and I'm terrified of the fumes and the potential to start a fire. And we live in such a close, very closely, the houses are close together in our neighborhood. So it's like, man, I'm not going to be the cause of somebody else's house burned down.
Yeah, never leave them unattended.
Exactly.
It floors me when, like, I see people leave them, like, they'll walk out of the room, and I'm just like, you're asking for it. That's a no. I sit right here with them. The only ones I have in the house are very little ones, and they can be, they have desktop filters.
Yeah.
So.
We've talked about getting like a small one just for like tiny little things, little projects, but it's not ever been something that we have really pushed for. So our avenue of like that kind of tech side of things is the 3D printing aspect. And so my husband has gotten really into it. He's gotten me into it, but he's really down that rabbit hole.
So's my husband. He did first. And then I have the bamboo P2S back there, and he's got like 2 bamboo printers in his office. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
We in December we got the H2C. We upgraded from our X1C. Yeah. And we love the H2C. Like it's a fantastic machine. Yeah.
That's the one I got him for Christmas. So yeah.
That's fun. It's funny because like to explain it in layman terms, the nozzle changing system, it's like if you don't really understand 3D printing on just above a basic level, then they're like, wait, it does what and how and what is the benefit? Like it's really hard to explain, but it's a very cool machine and it uses really cool technologies. Yeah. Very, very cool. Okay, so you said. So why did you start your YouTube channel? I know that you said you kind of want to change it and get back to where you were. But what made you start it?
Honestly, I kept repeating myself in streams. So like most of the time when I would live stream on Twitch, it was just conversational. It was just hanging out with friends, talking about the weather or new movie or whatever. You know, I wasn't actually teaching any of the sewing stuff. But every once in a while, somebody would ask a question and I always had to repeat it. So I decided to make a series of videos that covered the things that people were asking me. And it was during the lockdown, during COVID, where I put a little more effort into YouTube. I had a lot of spare time back then.
So did many of us, for sure.
Yeah. The funny thing is I work from home now and I have a lot less time. Right. But it was mostly for that purpose. So I didn't have to repeat myself. You're like, just go look at this video over here. Like that one will cover everything. And
that's fair. And
then also to remind myself, because the number of times I've had to remind myself how to do a zipper overlay is too damn high. And I just openly admit that. Like, there are times where I've literally forgotten, okay, do I do the inside seam first or the outside?
That's fair. There are, I'm very big into techniques. So I can remember how to do a technique and in the order, but like for my own patterns, it's funny when I teach at Lauren's or whatever and at Mormino, so whatever studios is really what it's called. But they'll be like, okay, and what measurement down do I do that? And I'm like, what did I put in the pattern? Because I have no idea. I wrote that 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yes. And I have we're just human. And over time, our preferences for seam allowances may change. I started out with a 1/2 inch and then I moved to a 3/8 of an inch. And in some cases, I have a 1/4 inch, and I get you there. I forget that. And we can go through months and months of rigorous review and then just recently find out whoops, I have a copy paste error. I meant to say 32 inches of strapping, but it says 20 inches. Oh God. And then I worry, like, how many people have I screwed over with that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I have a proofer, and she's a professional proofer. She also happens to be a friend of mine. So she catches almost every error. I think there's like one or two that I have seen in a pattern after it was released, but it's very minor. And I am so grateful for that because, I mean, and we've said this before on the show, once you get to a certain point in the writing process and the design process, you don't see that anymore. You don't see the numbers. You just kind of see pictures and you have to just have faith in yourself that you thought it correctly before and move on and hope, honestly, one of your testers catches it, or like in my case, a proofer. Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah. One of the things that actually helped me, the Mighty Messenger bag, which I find hilarious, is the most popular bag. Like, I don't understand it. It is a box that is a little taller than it is wide, and it's a messenger, and that's it. But
people like a crossbody of sorts like that, you know?
Yeah. But I actually had people with almost no sewing experience go through that pattern. So that one's thorough because of that.
For your designing process, how many, kind of tell me, start to finish, how many bags you make. It can be very brief. It doesn't have to be super intensive of an explanation, but, just kind of general idea. Feel free to rant.
It depends on the design. Some designs are really easy for me to come up with. The perfect pouch was stupid easy, but then you have something like the Convention Raider and the Dreamer Pack that took flippin' forever to do.
Fair.
Because they're different. The Dreamer Pack is not terribly different except for the fact that it doesn't look like a lunchbox. Okay. So many of them in this, I'm not knocking other mini backpacks because there's a lot of them. They're awesome.
Okay.
But the mini backpacks I enjoy as a Disney pass holder are the little lounge flies.
Yes.
And the front is slightly lower than the back.
Yes. That's how my Rosie Sling is as well. It's got an angled top zipper panel.
You get it then. That it's like the math was so hard to figure out on that one. And that's another example of a video I did was the gusset math one, because I'll always forget and I always have to go watch myself, which sucks. I hate the sound of my own voice. But initially, my process is to come up with an idea for a design. I sketch it out, on my iPad or just paper or whatever. I sketch all of that out. I figure out roughly what I want the dimensions to be. And then I break the problem down. I kind of approach it like I would for programming I break it down into pieces. I'm going to do it in this chunk and now this chunk and that. And then I kind of figure out the general idea of what I want the pattern pieces to be to get that result. I will build it first with paper.
Okay.
Which, mind you, is not the best if you have curved corners and things, but
right. I always have curves. This is why I don't really use paper ever. I just buy cheap materials and work with that.
Yeah. And that's good too. And I do that. I keep some cheap twill around usually for something like that. But one thing I introduced into my process about 2 years ago was using Clo 3D. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's patterning software.
Okay.
And it's great for clothing. You have a virtual mannequin and you can do draping and everything and draw on the mannequin, and it'll make the pattern pieces. And it's a good starting point. There are a bunch of idiots who will actually go ahead and make a pattern and sell it right out of it, and it won't work. But if you're doing that, guess what? You're an idiot. So we said no filtering,
Fair.
Right?
Yes, no filtering.
Cool. For bags, it's a little different, but it gives me a good sense of a starting point. So the Duflé, which is I don't know. I just
That's
got
your little
stupid.
duffel?
The little duffel, the miniature duffel bag.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like Target, so
no,
fancy, but it's
fair.
just a bowler bag. So what the heck? So kind of just going with that. That one was mostly done in Clo.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you kind of export it from there, but then use it as a starting point, and then you do it elsewhere.
I edit in Illustrator.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first couple of patterns that I did, up to the Mighty Messenger, were in Photoshop.
Okay.
Bad idea. I was
Yeah.
just, until lasers came into my life, I was very scared of vector graphics. And
Okay.
then you have to figure it out because
Yeah.
everything has to be vector with the lasers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so now it's Illustrator all the time. I do everything in millimeters. But the funny thing is when I put the instructions together, it's all inches.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I was going to say. That's, I mean, like, it's easy when you're doing things in Illustrator. So for those that don't know, you can set, you can flip-flop your software while you're in Illustrator to show you in metric or imperial. And so, like, when I create all of my pieces, I actually do the opposite. So I will create them all in inches because that's what I have to reference when I'm physically making my pattern pieces.
Yeah.
But then when my husband is doing things, or when I have my proofer double check the SVG files and things like that, I have to give them the millimeters because it's way more exact of a measurement.
Yeah.
And so I have to manually switch it over. So I found that so interesting that you do everything in meters, like millimeters. It makes sense because it's so accurate, but also like has to be mind boggling because for me, I'm like, I will never have that conversion in here ever, 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 never, ever.
I don't have the conversion straight up. I just know like a quarter inch is about 6 millimeters and half an inch is 12.5 millimeters. You know, like reasonable adjustments in my head I can do, but I still have a calculator up on my other monitor all the time, millimeters to inches.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot. But I mean, kudos to you because I mean, that's just a whole extra thing to tack on.
Yeah.
But like, so why do you do it in millimeters? Although, like, I'm sure, like, when you're doing like SVGs and things like that, you know, to check for accuracy. But is there another reason other than the accuracy?
Yeah, decimal point accuracy, like the precision for the floating points. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing inches and you need to be like really, really exact. It's very difficult to achieve because like Illustrator, Photoshop, etc., they can only go to about, I don't know, 1,000th of precision. And that's not enough in some cases. And then you'll end up with mismatches, especially when you have curved corners and things.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I do a lot of like, I'll create my digital piece. I do a lot of like tracing of my own. I think I've told this in another episode where I make my pattern pieces in paper and then I scan them. And then I will take the scan, import it into Illustrator. And I do like some tracing and things like that. And then I take that and then I alter it to be kind of more perfect, you know, so perfect angles and curves and things like that. And I'll do a lot of like splitting and mirroring and merging and things like that to give me what I want. It's a multi-step process. So
yeah. And I'll do paper too. Like I'll draw it out on paper and then do the same thing, scan it in. Yeah.
I find that to be fairly like, it's within the margin of error for what I'm doing, because then I'll continue to test after the pattern pieces have been made. So then I can make adjustments from there. It's more of like, I know this process works. Let me get the pieces match the rest of it. So that's totally fair.
And I'll test, like, some patterns are just really easy. Like the Duflé was stupid easy. Like I did not need to do a lot of tests before I was like, oh, okay, well that works. Hand it off to other people.
Yeah. And that's a bound pattern? Is it bound on the inside?
Yeah. I actually prefer doing bound bags now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Once you get down your binding method, it's really nice. And from a designing perspective, it's actually, not to knock you, but it's easier to design a bound pattern because you're forcing a tight fitting versus when you're doing like a drop-in or something like that and you're not telling customers to increase their seam allowance on the lining. And you're creating the lining pieces to then, fit snugly inside. It's not as easy of a process to do that from a design standpoint.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the tight fit that I prefer. Like, could you imagine like doing that little mini backpack with a loose interior? I mean, but people will jump through hoops to avoid doing binding. And I get it. I always test on a domestic machine and my industrial.
So
it's cheat mode to do those things with industrials.
Right, exactly. So how many do you test on your domestic? Do you just test one? You torture yourself for the one domestic test and then you go back to the nice, easy, happy industrial?
Depends on the pattern, but at least two. At least.
I only ever do one. I will torture myself one time and that is it.
I won't do I won't do vinyl or leather on the domestic. And if anybody wants to do that on domestic, bless. I just don't have the patience for it.
And I like to say it's not necessarily the right tool for that job. A domestic machine isn't necessarily the right tool for bag making. People don't want to hear that. Yes, you can make your machine do things that maybe it's above its pay grade, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's what it's designed to do. So you're pushing it to its limits. And you understanding your machine's limits and the materials you're using is where the more advanced bag making comes into play. And that's not to shame anyone that uses a domestic to sew bags. It's just I don't believe that it's the right tool for that job, in my opinion, for sure. Yeah. So how many bags do you tend to make as a whole? Like pre-testers?
Pre-testers? Yes. Oh, God. It could be gods. Well, like I would say like with the Dreamer pack being the most recent one, I probably made 50 or more.
Wow. Oh, my gosh.
Well, I was sitting on that one for about 3 years for various not commenting reasons, but I sat on it for a very long time. It's fine. This is fine. Not bitter at all.
We're not salty. No, we're not. Also, this is a free to shit talk without names podcast.
Oh, they know.
Okay. I'm just putting that out there. Okay.
Yeah. Everyone knows, actually.
I don't, so I'm going to need to know at the end of the show. Make a note. Making a note. I am not joking. I'm making a note because I will forget. You're welcome, listeners. You don't get to know. Dreamer drama.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah, I jokingly call it the trigger bag.
Fair. Now it will be known as Dreamer Drama.
Yeah. Gods. Yeah, but no, really, with that one, I just kept hemming and hawing over like, oh, God, the pocket doesn't look right. It needs to be bigger. Oh, no, now it needs to be smaller. Oh, God, this is going to be hard for someone to do. And that is when because like initially, it didn't have a 3D pocket.
Okay.
And then I was like, why don't I just cut the freaking hole out and make them put it around the hole, like, and sew it on that way.
Right.
It made sense, you know, like to have, because like the first pass at the convention raider, that 3D pocket, I had people fold under the edge 1/4 inch and stitch it on. And it's like always
really hard.
Catty corner, right?
Yeah. It always is slightly off center or slightly crooked or things like that.
Yes. And it drives me nuts as someone who's like, I see the lines. So...
And some domestics can't handle a pocket like that.
They can't.
The seams, it's too bulky. It's really tough, for sure.
Yeah. But what does, so like, well, we could keep meandering into me bitching about random things, but...
Bitch away, please. I'm telling you, your seam ripping was the catalyst for me being like, okay, come on, please.
That was my that was your territory. I was like, this is how I get rid of certain kinds of people from my videos. No, like I went over so many different retakes on things and like the height difference between the front and the back was a big one.
Yeah.
I took one to Disney on a trip and I was like, well, it can't fit a Dasani bottle, so I need to make it taller and all this, like, little things like that. Right, and I just kept sitting on it. But it had easily been made well over 50 times.
Wow. I thought that I make a lot pre-testers, but you definitely blew me out of the water for sure.
Yeah, it's more just like I was sitting on it. I was making myself bags. I was making bags to sell. Yeah.
Yeah, so before I released my first pattern, the Gaia, I had kind of spent the whole year I hadn't designed a pattern before other than like just kind of making some things on the fly here and there. Like, you have a front panel and you have a gusset. Great. You have a whole pattern. You just build from there.
Yeah.
But then I did the same thing with the Gaia. And then kind of by the end of it, a friend of mine, I had various people encourage me to go forward with a pattern, and I did. And then I just kept going from there. But that one was the most I think I ever made pre-pattern. And I think I remember counting, it was like 33. And the first one looks so different than the last one, or like than the pattern bag too. Like there's a whole evolution. And I think from a customer standpoint, you can tell, when somebody has really push and push and push. And that's not to say somebody like Jenny from Sincerely Jen Patterns. She had said on the show that there were times where she did 1 to 2 bags prior to a pattern release. And I'm like, I wish I had that level of confidence.
That's not me.
That's not me.
No. I think the least I did was the Duflé. And that was because it's not a difficult design. Mm-hmm. And I just like miniature things. I just like
That's
miniatures.
Fair.
Like,
that's okay.
I have a bunch of Japanese ball jointed dolls sitting on a shelf behind me. It's a little creepy, but it's all right. I like miniatures.
Mm-hmm.
I've got all these miniature like pop guys here. That focus. There we go.
There they are.
See, I like stuff like that. I like smaller bags. I hate big bags. They make me think of like my stepmother carrying everything in the kitchen sink in her bag.
That's fair. That's fair. So how many did you end up making for the Duflé?
For the Duflé, that was probably 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't that bad.
I want to say the least that I made was probably 14, maybe, ever. And I never made as many as I did for the Gaia. But my goal is between like 12 and 15 is like target for me. But I think by that point, I eliminate some possibilities. I explore more efficient ways of doing things. I pick up on what I want to do first or what feels natural to do next. I think like for me, it's that repetition that helps me kind of fine tune it for just my process and my brain. And then of course, you seem to be similar to me in that like, you kind of do things your own way. You write things your own way to your own preferences. Take it or leave it if you like it, customers. But like, this is just me and my work. And I hope you like it, because if not.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of other options. And, they're $5.95. Like, like some people, I always find it amusing when people are like, are you going to have a Black Friday sale? And I'm like, are we really having this conversation right now? Like
I have a $4 pattern called the Tuesday Tote. And for a couple years, people were like, I would exclude the Tuesday Tote from the sale because it's like, it's already cheap enough. And then I just got enough people asking me, and I had sold enough of them by that point. It's funny because like, even though the volume of sales for my Tuesday Tote is way higher, it's a $4 pattern. So the profit is a quarter or like a third of what it is for other patterns. So it's like, but then I just started including it, and I was like, it's whatever. Like I'm sacrificing that money to not deal with these questions.
Yeah. I don't respond in a lot of like. The feral side of me wants to like kind of clap back at people.
Yeah.
But I only do it if people get rude.
Yeah.
Like if they're rude about it, then I'm like, oh no, the gloves are off. I'm taking off my earrings, the works, hold my beer.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I like to say that, if somebody's nasty with me in an email, I will clap back to you in the most professional way. It will, you'll realize by the end of it, she was mad. Okay. Respectably mad. Fine.
Yeah. I also just have resting typeface. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So then to go back to the designing part, so you get it to your testers. How big is your test team typically?
4 or 5 people traditionally.
Oh, okay. So a smaller test team.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a larger test group before, and people just do it for the free pattern and they don't ever get me pictures. So I keep it real small, real small. But they also don't get the pattern from me until I feel really confident in it. And I literally just need like little bits of feedback.
Same. I like to say mine's like 80 to 90% like fully finished. Like my proofer hasn't gotten it yet, but it may be missing 1 to 2 pictures in the process. Like it doesn't have the pattern piece chart, and like there are like some things there, but like for a 60 to 80 page pattern, which is how long mine tend to be, it's pretty much mostly done, and the average person could sew it up as it's written. But it's more of like, how did I type up this and this like step here? Was it very confusing? Or, and once I get like 5 comments and I'm like, I had to pause for a minute here. I don't understand what the hell you were trying to say. Fair. We can reword this. But my test team is about, I want to say on average between 12 and 14 people, which to me is a lot. I also pay them, and they have to like sign a like contract of sorts. Which is just explaining all the expectations. Like and like they're not allowed to not get paid, because I don't want it to make anyone else feel like they need to decline getting paid, but I've tried a smaller test team at one point, and I really enjoyed having that, but I also enjoyed just getting more eyes on it because it's so many pages for me.
Yeah.
Like I have to, with that many people, or that much text and pictures and a longer, complicated process, for me, it's just like, I really have to have more eyes as much as I can, plus my proofer.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a really weird way of phrasing things, but I did so many rounds of instructions review with the Mighty Messenger that a lot of the things that you do with a lot of like crossbody bags in general, like how do I make the strap adjustable, that kind of thing, like that whole chunk can come out and gets pasted into other ones,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My designs have been so drastically different from one another that like I only get small things, small bits that I can repeat here and there, which is pretty annoying. Like one day I'm going to choose to do an easy pattern. I'm not sure when that day is going to be, but I'm just hoping for it. So how long is your testing process normally?
Oh, God, anywhere from 1 to 2 months, usually.
Oh my gosh, that's so much longer than mine.
Oh, no. Usually I would largely do it with people in my Twitch and YouTube community that are also sewists, and specifically bag sewists. And I would do it like I was designing live on stream and testing on stream.
So they knew the design before they got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also reckon, like, I was never in a hurry. This isn't my job.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
It's also the reason why I have the ability to charge $5.95 for them.
Right, because it's not your main gig.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think my story would be a little different if this was my job.
That's fair. That's fair. And there's no judgment there, by the way, just so that we're aware. Like, do you?
Everybody's got a tote bag, right? That's why I named my last tote bag another fucking tote bag. That was a joke. It's like, yeah. But
I mean, it is what it is. It was funny because when I released the Gaia, my second pattern was the Tuesday tote. And people were like, and I only released it because, so before I started my pattern business, I sold bags exclusively. And so I needed a filler, something that I could bust out like 15 of and have it be part of one of my drops. Easy, didn't have to think about it. I used the rulers that I had. I had like 3 different rulers. That was it at the time. And so I kind of used them as like, okay, well, I fold this one in half with this ruler, and then this one, I use this measurement for the bottom. And it was like, it's a tote is so easy. Yeah. And they were like, you should release. My customers ate it up, pissed me off so much. And so I was like, I'm spending all this money and time on these complicated bags. And they're like, okay, yeah, I hear you, but I'm going to need a little basic tote that doesn't even have a magnetic snap at the top. It has like no pockets.
Yeah.
So basic.
But so like for us, that seems really easy. But for people who don't like who can't think in 3D
Yeah.
or don't understand the math in it, it's like it's life-saving for them.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
to them, that's a big deal.
Yeah. And it's a small investment monetarily
Yeah.
for them not having to do all of the critical thinking or doing the testing. They don't have to invest in materials and things like that.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that I was wrong about how many I made before I sold it. Now I think about the Tuesday tote because the amount of Tuesday totes that I made just as bullshit makes for my business before I actually released the pattern was hilarious. So not true. That was probably up in the 50s, 60s. Probably more than that. I don't even remember. I counted at one point and I don't remember. I don't remember anything. That's why I have a note. But so when my friends were like, you got to release the pattern, and that people ate up the Tuesday tote, and it was like, but you know, other people since then have also released their totes too, and it's like, I mean, everyone, it's just kind of like par for the course. If you're a designer, you need some form of a more simplistic, basic bag to kind of get people in the door to your patterns.
Yeah, exactly.
Something approachable.
Yeah. Like I think I've got 2 that are like free. God, I have to think about that. My God, that's sad. Yeah. So it's like, you know, the first hit's free, that kind of thing.
That's fair.
Yeah. But like the whole reason I made another fucking tote bag is because I got so sick and tired of seeing people in the various Facebook groups accuse other people of copying their patterns. And I'm like, there's only so many ways to make a fucking tote bag.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
It's like ridiculous.
It's, you know, I was in a group that I joined in the last couple of months, and just yesterday or something like that, somebody made a post and they were like really aggressive with it, but it was saying something about how, like, again, I don't remember anything, so I'm going to heavily paraphrase, but about how, like, they're essentially, if you see a pattern and you sew a pattern and then you modify that pattern, you're plagiarizing. It's not an original design. It's essentially copying. Good job being a plagiarizer. So it was like that form of like aggressiveness, like very, very like, okay, then. But it's like,
guess they've never heard of derivative work.
like, there are so many people that you will never, ever get exposed to as a business owner. There's enough space for all of us to have our own Tuesday totes or our own totes patterns. Like, you sold them, yours, I've sold mine. Everyone else has sold theirs to the people that they have access to. But not only that, like, customers like how specific people write. There are plenty of customers that don't like how I do some of my techniques and don't like how I write my patterns. They complain, you know, and it's like, okay, great. You know that now. Go find somebody else, and that's okay. Like, there's only so many ways to sew a tote bag. There's only so many practical measurements to use for a handheld tote, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And no, you're 100% right.
Yeah. So anyway, fair. So throttling back, I will happily rant. Stop me if that happens.
No.
So your testers get it for 1 to 2 months. And then you release it. Do you do a release sale knowing that your patterns are already low priced?
Nope.
Good for you.
Nope.
Good for you.
I mean, I don't spend a ton of money or time advertising.
Same.
Or doing self-promo. Like, there's some Facebook groups that will be left unnamed where, I love that you are allowed to post things, but it is taken advantage of.
Yes, I will say that almost every feed is full of ads now.
Yes. It's like, I know when a pattern is released because every tester is like in posting the exact same bag in the same group. Like, they don't even think about spacing it out or organizing time slots when they spam a group.
Yes.
That and custom printed fabric that is obviously stealing from other companies and trademark violations, but that's fine. We can talk about plagiarism.
Go for it. The floor is yours.
Oh, no, I just love it when people are like, so like, can I print this Disney thing and I'm going to sell it and buy it in like this group, and it's a hidden Facebook group, as if that wasn't a big fucking hint in its own right. You know, like there's a reason they hide them and rename them every few days.
Yeah. Wow. My custom fabric world has shrunken heavily to just a couple groups that I purchased from. I also think like it was, looking back on it now, is very much a fad. Like I'm looking at all of my fabrics, and all my custom fabrics were bought within like a 4-year window. And now it's only like a very occasional purchase, and 9 times out of 10 it's a selfish one. There's a game that I play frequently called Palia. I think it's technically
Palia. Yeah.
Palia.
Okay. Yeah.
But I hate that it's called Palia. I think it should be called Palia. I've ranted about this on the show before. Do you play?
No, I did in the beginning. I was in beta.
Oh, okay.
I'm
it's still
obsessed
in beta.
with Dune Awakening right now.
That's fair. That's fair. I will probably be in Palia until Fable releases, and then I'll probably heavily jump into that. But I digress. So, like, the only custom fabric I've purchased, like, in the last whatever was, I did get some, I think, bookish stuff for personal reasons or fun for linings, but then also a bunch of Palia prints.
Yeah, I'm looking at my Bridgerton vinyl over there. So, yes, I getcha.
Yeah. So, but there was, I mean, it was COVID, and the couple years after, like right before, during, and right after COVID, it was a huge boom in our custom world. That was when a lot of the hardware companies opened and bloomed. That's when a lot of the fabric companies were still alive and thriving, you know, like all that stuff. And then over the last couple years, that's gone way down because FOMO as a whole really just took place in our sewing community. So many people overbought. And now, like, all of this stuff we have in our sewing room that we're not sewing through as fast as we bought, I think has helped trigger that. But then, as a result, you have these bigger companies that have these higher expectations for sales, which then will push further advertisement and things like that. I will say now, though, it feels more of like the pattern world is what is more heavily advertised than the custom fabric and custom hardware, which is exhausting to read through every day. I've said this before on the show that there is a new pattern released every single day now. That was not the case 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Like, more power to people for releasing patterns, but it's exhausting for me as a designer to witness. I have to imagine there's a little bit of exhaustion with the customers, but then again, customers get way more access to way more designs from way more designers. So it's give and take for sure.
Yeah, and I used to share a lot more in the groups, but just, you know, all it took was like one person accusing me of like copying something, and I was like, I'm done now. I'm not going to be doing this anymore. And so I just, you know, casually lurk in groups.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about copying on the episode with Shanova, and then again on the one with Olivia from Alchemats. And
yay. Yeah.
Olivia and I are good friends, same with Shanova. And it's always tough when I think it comes to copying, because I think that there are two different things, and there's influencing and copying. Now, copying is more of a direct thing, but regardless of what you're doing, or if you're inspired by, right? Like, I have been someone who has been heavily copied in all aspect of my business. And that's like, I've had to come to my own terms with it. But it's really tough, I think, when you're accused of it kind of in a public setting, because then you have to defend yourself publicly for something that's not true.
Yeah.
If that's the case. And then it puts yourself in a really tough spot, because there's going to be people who read that and they don't believe what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, that's a them problem.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
it's kind of like the AI witch hunters. You know,
Yeah.
you see it a lot in the book community, like
Yeah.
bookish stuff. Like since you were saying about, you know, talking about that, I'm like, fourth wing ACOTAR, you know, and you see all these people who are like, you know, that person's an AI writer or that's an AI, you know, cover. And I'm sure that people are using AI tools to help write their patterns. You know, but you can't prove it. And just like, that's why I call them witch hunts, because like there's no proof for any of that stuff, and it's just tiring. I just wish people would mind their own business.
Yeah, they don't do that. They will not. But I, you know, to respond to your, you know, when somebody accused you and then you said you just kind of went to lurking mode. Something that Shanova talked about is how like somebody was kind of like doing some shady stuff and like it just wasn't okay. And she would love to essentially be able to call them out in a way that would kind of warn other people that this sewist in our community was being shady and like very unsupportive of their fellow sewist and like being kind of a mean girl. But she would never do it because she doesn't want to essentially engage with that kind of argument because, you know, she doesn't feel like maybe she would be able to defend herself and things like that. And I jokingly said, you know, like she had mentioned about Olivia, like, you know, I love her, you know, she's kind of like the we ride at dawn kind of friend. And I was like, yeah, we would do the same thing for you. But then again, you know, you don't always want, you know, your people coming and fighting on your behalf, which is what happens in a post like that. Once you start to defend yourself, people will come and defend you for you.
Yep.
But you can't filter what they say. You don't know what they're going to say. And it can take the conversation way off the rails.
It's very easy for people in positions like that to recognize that what they say might spurn on a holy war.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's something I try to be very mindful of when I post in public mediums, Instagram, Threads, etc. I don't want to say anything disparaging about another company or person or anything. Well, with, you know, some minor human rights exceptions. We won't go there.
Who said that?
Barb. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that? God.
Sorry, guys. Might have lost some listeners. It's fine.
No, that's the listeners you don't want.
Fair.
You know, but if I say something, then it's like, well, it's just me saying it. You don't have the other person's story. And then everybody is going to pile on. And then I'm the bad guy.
Right. Because you called your lackeys, but yet you didn't. And
I didn't, no.
And that's what, but your action encouraged or inspired other people to do the same.
Yep. That's parasocial, you know, relationships too. That's a big one. Or people think they're your BFF and you're like, no, hold up.
Right. And you don't have any proof. Like they don't have any proof. You don't have any proof. Nobody really understands. Or if you do, it's not like so infrequently do we have, like, do accusations have flat out proof and evidence that, you know, most of the time it's assumptions. And so it is really tough to navigate.
Yeah. Also, I'm turning 47 in a month and I'm just too old for that shit.
Fair. That's
just don't
totally
care anymore.
fair.
I mean, like, you know, the whole like Treamer drama, you know.
Told you
like,
it would stick.
Just damn it. Just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't. Like
sometimes you just
block and boundaries.
It has its season and then it passes and you're like, I have no desire to get back into that.
Yep.
There was, but totally fair though. Like I would love to see, like I do defend myself within limits. Like I will, like if I see somebody complaining about my work or something that I did or how I write my patterns or my process or things like that, like believe me, my patterns are very well vetted before they get out. Like I try very, very hard. So it's my job to defend my work. I don't ever want any of my testers doing that.
Yeah.
Like there are times where we've had discussions with fellow testers and then like I'm like, did you guys see this? Do you think that this is like legitimate? Like what do we think happened? You know, like we'll have conversations as far as like, is this on me or is this on them? You know, like so that I'm not just going out there completely blind and being like, you're wrong. I'm right. And now I'm angry about it and everyone's going to get mad at you for it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not going to get dragged through the mud and watch it happen and not defend myself.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to continue on an argument with somebody in the comments. Absolutely not. It's not going to happen.
I just block. I just block them. I liberally use block and move on. And, but you know, the other thing is like, it's really healthy to just like have like, here's the authors group for people who design and make patterns. And then here's the users where they can say what they want, knowing that they're in a safe place to voice their opinions and not have to worry about me lurking in the shadows like Shia LaBeouf, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I like to say that like negative opinions are allowed for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't ever want to create a space and where people can't share their negative opinions. But if your negative opinion is formed based off of misinformation or misunderstanding, then I'm going to help remedy that problem, right?
Right.
I'll help educate, inform, or like tell you where you can find the solution to your problem. Essentially, somebody sews up something wrong and they're like, this was the worst. This is so frustrating. But it's like, okay, well, you skipped 5 steps.
Yes. Oh, no, it's the step skipping that really irks me, or material skipping. Like, bitch, if I say you're supposed to use foam, you put foam in it. It's not going to look right if you don't put like the number of people who have made the Dreamer pack without foam is too damn high. And it's like, yes, it looks wrinkled because you didn't use the foam.
Well, my friend, so when I was doing the Rosie sling, I made one without any stabilizer or interfacing. And I made that specifically so that I could share the difference of appearance, what happens, like how different it looks, but I can't show you how different it feels.
Yeah.
And my friend Nikki, she's taught some interfacing and stabilizer classes. She's a huge proponent for essentially overstabilizing, maybe past what you think you would need, because it really does give you the result that you want. And she always uses that picture of like, your structure's not coming from your materials. It is not. I've shouted this from the rooftops of this podcast. You get it from your stabilizers. You get it from your interfacing. Yes, materials can contribute, but it's not where you get the basis of your structure from. Yeah. So then people will do that and they'll complain, but then there are people who skip steps and they're like, I was so happy with this pattern. This was amazing. And I'm just like,
why does it look so bad, though?
Yeah, that is just something I had to come to terms with. But, like, especially when people are so happy about it, it's so infectious, and you're just like, good for you. Like, you know what?
Oh,
like,
I love getting tagged. Like, especially on, like, Instagram, I'll get tagged every now and again. I'm like, oh, that looks so good. Like, I'm so glad you enjoyed the pattern, you know? And those are nice. But, yeah, when people were like, I skipped half of the steps and I used like tissue paper for fabric. Why does it look like poop? And it's like, well,
right. It is tough. And the thing is that, you know, people don't, I think, see this from this perspective often. But let's say you buy a pattern and you sew it up for the first time. And your first inclination, I love a skeptic's heart, okay? Please question things, absolutely. But when you read a pattern for the first time and you're like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's not happening here. And then they immediately assume that I hadn't made enough to know better. Like, I am the expert in this bag right now because I've made more than anyone else on the planet. And I'm telling you that I really think you should do this. And when I tell you not to skip this step, I'm telling you because I want you to make the best bag that you can. And I think that people just come in with that with such a very strong, healthy doubt. And it's really hard to convince them. Just like, do the first one. Just do the first one most of the way that I tell you. Just try to not skip some steps, you know?
Yeah.
Lauren, I love her. Oh. But she'll be like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm going to do something else. And then
I do that with pockets, which is funny enough is why I don't put a lot of pockets in my patterns.
Because everyone has their own preferred methods and things like that.
I don't use them.
Same.
I
I don't
don't
like a
use
flap. I don't like a top
the,
zipper for the most
yep,
part.
like it's extra steps. If you want one, like there's videos for how to do that. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
And because of the not rocket science, that's why I will set the pattern to like intermediate, like, so kind of set that tone.
Yeah.
If you want
Yeah.
a pocket, put it in yourself.
Yeah. And people will change that anyway. Like I designed a bag called the Aries Crossbody, and it has 2 top zippers, like 2 pouches.
Oh, yeah.
And there's the center open area. And from the day actually before it released, people really wanted to have that 3rd zipper in the middle. And I'm like, yeah, but like that's for your phone,
Yeah.
Like don't you want to just whoop, grab it? And then everyone's like, oh, I'm going to get pickpocketed, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
well, don't carry it in Rome.
it's not a bag that you would carry around in a place where you would be worried. Then, you have a different bag for that purpose. Like this design is what I created for that purpose. It's not for the purpose of preventing pickpockets, but okay. It's always funny with what you intend and what is received between business and customer. And sometimes it's in a really positive way of like, oh, like that's a good idea. Like you built off of it, or like you found a better way to do something and things like that. But sometimes it's kind of on the negative where you're just like,
yeah,
for sure. Okay. So we talked a little bit about how just to get back on track, you have a full-time job and software engineer, so that's a male-dominated field, right?
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
And then some of your hobbies, right? Once you get into the device reviewing, the machine reviewing, all that stuff, also male-dominated. Mm-hmm. So my question for you is, what is it like when you do engage with the female-dominated sewing community and you have to code switch? Now, you and I are people that are pretty direct. I would say you're more blunt and direct than myself. But what is that like for you, engaging with them?
I have worked for so long in male-dominated fields that I have just learned how to be that direct communicator. I don't switch who I am.
Good for you.
I don't soften my message because then I'm not being myself.
Good for you.
I will attract the wrong people who then, when I do show who I actually am, will be like, what? And then like freak out and leave or cancel me or whatever they do these days. Direct is like my new favorite way of describing. I had an HR person call me temperamental once. So that's cool. Mm-hmm. God, the horror stories I could tell you from the game industry.
I've heard a couple of them here and there, just throughout various engagements with various games and the stories on the developer side of things and stuff. And it doesn't sound like a fun industry. Most of the time, we get all the fun parts, right? Yep. On the backside, not always so fun.
Yeah.
No, I don't get it. But so. What about so you said you don't really change you stay authentically yourself, which kudos to you. I think it's extremely exhausting to constantly do that. And I forget everything. So I would turn it off by accident and then there I'd go, big red flag. So what's the feedback on that? Like, are you constantly having to deal because again, it's just a different way of kind of thinking about things and approaching things and answering questions and things like that. I do filter myself quite a lot. I'm not
outright rude.
Fair.
Right? I'm just me. Like I just don't soften things, and I'm not a valley girl, and I'm not a girly girl. I've never been a girly girl. Yeah. Ironically, surrounded by sewing machines.
I am not a girly girl either. And it's okay. Like, I'm also not like a heavy handbag carrier. Like, I've had the same handbag for a couple of years now.
Same. That's so funny, isn't it? It's like, we'll make a bag and we'll use it until it falls apart.
Yeah.
No.
But the thing is that even though you're not rude, people can take it, your directness and your bluntness, as being rude, especially with some of the demographics that are in our sewing community. But I guess you had said, like, you kind of filter them out a bit. I
do now. I started out more reserved on the YouTube side of things. I really did. And then
they're nasty on YouTube too.
Oh, God, I've been called a whore in the comments for wearing too much makeup. I've been called ugly and sloppy for not wearing makeup. You can't win. You're never going to win. People say I talk too much, or I don't talk enough, or they don't like the music in the background. I'm like, well, fuck you. I do. Like
right. It's not about you.
I don't get as many rude comments from women as I do from more male presenting voices and the laser community.
I bet, yeah.
In
the printing community, I'm sure.
3D printing's rather new for me posting things, so I don't think people know I'm there. Nobody's comparing me to Uncle Jesse yet,
Just beware, they're pretty nasty sometimes. Are you in the Bamboo group? Bamboo Lab official?
Not the official.
There's two. There's one that's like regular and then one that claims to be official. Honestly, I don't really engage in there a lot. I used to read every post because it was almost funny to me reading how nasty people would get in the group. Oh, if only there was a search bar at the top of this group, It was like, I'm so used to seeing kind of mostly women talk to mostly women, and it's like they're never as nasty as men can be from the click of a button.
The laser groups are horrifying. They are absolutely horrifying. It's just I can post an X-Tool video and it will be flooded with men trying to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, and like just insulting every ounce of me, physically, verbally, whatever it is that offends them. And at the end of the day, you realize the thing that's offensive to them is the fact that their space isn't theirs anymore.
Exactly.
It's being shared.
Yeah.
And they don't like that. Yeah. And I absolutely love making them feel uncomfortable with their positions.
I love that. Like,
I get a kick out of it. And I think that's why I stay in tech. That's why I do.
It fuels you.
There is nothing more invigorating in my life than to go into a meeting with a bunch of men who think they're right, and I get to tell them they're wrong.
I love that. That is very, internally validating, too.
Yes.
That is so wonderful.
I'm smart, you're not.
But also, so it's got to be kind of nice, let's say, when you post a sewing tutorial or something like that. And so then you're weeding out most of those male presenting voices.
I am. But then I get the people who are like, I had a witch hunt, like a Salem witch hunt sweatshirt on.
Okay.
And then you get these women who will come and be like, how dare you get political? I'm like, what? And
Would
then
you
I
like me
realized
to get political?
They thought the year on the sweatshirt was alluding to something else I won't talk about. But I was like, you fucking idiot. You drove me up the wall. But I screenshot those. I screenshot those comments and I keep them in a very special place. And then I make a seam ripping where I call them out. And I don't remove their name.
I watched it. It was nice.
Yeah. It's cathartic.
Yeah. Yeah. So we could talk a little bit about seam ripping.
Oh, yeah.
So that is this YouTube series you have where you kind of take these topics that are currently being debated or have been kind of debated in the past, and you essentially rant about them for whatever amount of time in which you provide yourself the opportunity to do so, and you come at it with facts and a very kind of, I don't want to say sterile, because it's just more of like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not because it is biased, because it's your opinion, but it's more of like, let's look at this from a factual basis, not necessarily an emotional basis, but then also we can take that information and be emotional about it, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I love it. That was the big thing for me. I was like, I love this. I want more of this. I want to have a conversation with her because of this. I think it's very healthy. I think it has such a breath of fresh air about it. Because so many things become taboo for no reason.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to talk to you and figure out, like, what was the catalyst for that? And when can we get more, please?
I know. I have to be riled up about something.
Okay.
I have to be pissed about something in order to do it. And, you know, like the influencer one, the last one I did, that was because I was in the Eufy Make group. And I mean, I'm a beta tester. Yes, I have a free machine. And yes, the company was having issues because they kept finding like pretty decent bugs with the machine, and they were delayed in their shipments. But I kept getting targeted, and I was like, you know what? I'm not evil. Like, I hate the word influencer. I really, really do. And I actually have stopped putting affiliate links, even though I've got them. And even though I do get a kickback if they're used, I stopped putting them in the descriptions because I would rather people trust the opinion than to think that I'm just out for money. Like, I don't care about it. I have a job. I just like free shit. Okay.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. But like the thing is, like, those videos just stem from me getting to a tipping point.
For sure.
Right. Where I'm like, I'm done. These people need to have a course correction on their really bad takes. And then I make my take. But I, like you said, I come at it with facts. Oh, yeah. Those, I can't even remember what the first one was. Some of the follow-ons where I was wearing like a towel on my head and no makeup. So it was because people kept saying I looked sloppy in the earlier ones. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to brush my teeth in this one. Yeah. I came in with like a toothbrush and everything. I was this is how this is going to go.
And like, I love that you give it like these, like you give the perspective of like, if you want to do this, fine. Like, if you don't want to do this, fine. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, you just do what you want to do, what works for you. There was one that you talked about, licensed character.
Oh, yes.
Stuff like that one. And that's always a conversation that happens in groups. And I tend to not jump in. For me, seeing you do that, I was like impressed because I try to take the position of, I'm not a legal professional and you shouldn't believe what I put out when it comes to something that I don't have a degree for, like I have a couple testers who are lawyers, if they commented something, I would be like, oh, I'm probably going to listen to them, but still Google it. You know what I mean? Like, still do my own independent research.
Definitely.
But, so infrequently do these things get talked about with like the way in which you do it, where you present those facts and stuff. And it's nice in the format in which you're doing it because it's not a discussion. You just get to lay it out there.
And there's no back and forth with that. And the thing is, though, like I've mentioned a couple of times, like I'm in a privileged position. I don't care if people hate me at the end of the day. I don't live, eat, breathe, and shit and die off of the money I make on YouTube. Yeah. That money goes to buy stuff for my emotional support hamster that you can't see. She's off camera, but whatever.
How do you pronounce it? Potat?
Potat.
Potat.
Because she is a potat, yes.
She is on my list of questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit.
I'd like to hear more about her.
Yeah, the ADHD tunnel was real big on that one. So, yeah. But, yeah, like I can do that. Lauren probably couldn't. You've name dropped Lauren already. She probably couldn't. She has a business. She has an established physical presence.
Yes.
As a
with
business.
Employees.
Yes. So if she does that, it trickles down and it affects other people. It's only affecting me, and I'm sorry, but it's just online. I could just smoke bomb and be done. You would never hear of Fierce Kittens again. Yeah. It's very easy to do that. It's scary. And I would never do that, except,
But it's always an option.
Yes. Yeah. So, I just figured I can be the person who can rant like that because we're all thinking it. We're all thinking those things to an extent, and there won't be blowback.
Yeah. Or like detrimental blowback for you. What would be the catalyst for you, deploying that smoke bomb and turning things off? For you, it's just like, well, I said what I said, and it's not going to ruin my business. Especially, you've also curated a following by this point that is looking forward to that, that they are following you for that type of content. They want the no bullshit. They want the just, tell me it like it is. And,
I'll tell you, the weirdest thing though is being recognized in public. Weird as shit. Like, so many times at Disney, because I do run Disney events like 3 or 4 times a year.
Oh yeah.
And like I've been recognized in Epcot, like just walking through Epcot, with my mother and my mother-in-law and one of my kids. Just and my mother's like, "What the?" I'm like, "Yeah, Mom. So I'm like almost 50,000 subscribers on YouTube," which I never thought I'd get there. That's ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it comes in spurts.
Yeah.
You're like,
when something takes one video takes off and you get an influx for sure.
Yeah, it's wild influx. But and then in the line waiting at the expo to get my bib, several people recognized me. It was like, whoa, holy crap. Like that does get a little weird. I don't think I'll ever be used to that. But like just that I have that element. So like I wouldn't be able to hide at Disney, for example, if they wanted to find me, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I barely ever leave my house, so there's no way in hell I'm going to get recognized. But also my following is much smaller, so I'm safe for now.
I wait for it.
I'm not trying to get there. I have one of the earlier podcasts I talked about. I had heard this interview once, and this person was saying, there's a point where like you can be comfortable in your growth, like you can just be okay with making X amount of dollars. You don't always have to have more followers and have more dollars. Like, it's okay. You can just be okay being comfortable. And that gave me permission to be comfortable. And I'm like, I could have the same amount of customers, the same amount of followers forever and be totally fine with it. Like sitting here where I'm at, I could survive off of it, and I can feel comfortable in it. But if the growth does happen, we'll just, hopefully it's gradual enough to where I can grow with it.
Yeah.
But,
so like that's why I don't have a schedule.
Okay.
I value my mental health so much. Like ever since lockdown.
Same. Yeah.
Like I started prioritizing my mental health. If I'm done, like completely fried at the end of the day, when I would normally make a video, I won't do it.
Yeah.
I won't.
Yeah.
I'll go sit down. I'll read one of my romantic-y smut things if I want, or I'll play Dune Awakening for 5 hours ish. Sometimes 6.
There's nothing. I am not shaming you for that, because believe me, I'd be doing that too. I'm really big in a work-life balance. This is my full-time gig. Yeah. And so I do treat it like a Monday through Friday. My hours are closer to 7:30 to 3:30, and I treat it that way. Like I'm not emailing after hours. I'm not working on the weekends most of the time. Today is an exception. We're here on a nice, cozy Sunday. But like, I value that as well. And like, so I don't mean to always say this phrase, but this is more for the listeners. I've said on the show in the past that I've had a big bubble. I had a small bubble, and then as the sewing world expanded and as my reach expanded, I expanded my bubble, and I became friends, and I engaged with more businesses, and I became more well known. And then so much of that was toxic and like not beneficial.
Yep.
So I shrunk it back down. And so now my bubble is very tiny and I'm very comfortable in it. And I turned away a lot from the social aspect and into my family life more. And like, I am so happy making those choices and engaging with work in the way that I am with the reach that I have, and it feels more safe to me.
Yeah, yes, I did the same thing. That's why I don't Twitch stream much. One of the reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the idea of expanding, the idea of engaging, and like with you, with having a full-time job, you're forced to constantly code switch. You're forced to constantly pivot and to be full-time job, to be a parent, to be a wife, to be a friend, and then like everything. You have so many roles you have to play. So, nobody should be shaming you for not Twitch streaming a couple nights a week for 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah. No one does. Like I used to feel so guilty if I had to cancel streams, but I found that I was canceling them more often than actually doing a stream. So I just kind of let it naturally fall off, and I've been happier since. Like, I still run my Discord community, but and people still care and they still keep up with me. But it's just not who I am anymore. I was basically documenting my slow decay into middle-agedness anyway. So,
well, and I think like there's seasons for everything. Like if that's what you're doing then at that point in your business, it doesn't necessarily have to be a forever thing. It can just be this thing that you're engaging in now. But that kind of segues a little bit into something else I want to ask you. And so before guests come on, you guys may remember that I tend to send, or I always send them, a questionnaire just so that we can both be on the same page for what to expect in the interview, tech-wise, schedule-wise, all that stuff. And so one of the things you had said in your little About Me section was that you tend to monetize every hobby.
God,
and so I touched on that with the Elizabeth episode, and, the way in which you explained it seemed that like you recognize it's a little bit of a problem. and so I wanted to see if you wanted to talk more about that, because like, it's tough. It's an easy thing to do.
It's like, it's very hard for me to want to do something for myself, to enjoy something for myself without like, I feel like I need to justify the equipment and the supplies that I buy. And
it shouldn't be a tax on you or on your income.
Yeah, exactly. But like, the YouTube thing allows me to buy fun things, and fun things like microphone. Here's my eye lick. That's stupid. It's fucking
fun,
stupid, but I love it. Yeah. So, thank God I didn't monetize it. Jesus, that would have been weird. But like, I think violin is the only thing I've ever allowed myself to invest in and actually enjoy without making content.
Yes.
Everything else, though, I either make content or I use it to drive people to my store. And like the lasers. Any normal person would have just had fun. No. I had to design coasters and acrylic templates and all other things. Like I just can't freaking enjoy it.
Yeah. I don't think that I know pretty much anyone with a laser that hasn't monetized it in some form.
It did pay for itself within like half a year. So I mean
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I bought the 3D printer with the intention of kind of monetizing it. I knew what I wanted to do with it. I had an idea, and I was like, that is the solution that more people can dabble in.
Yeah.
But I have forced myself to not monetize other things. Like
just enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's
cats.
important.
Print cats for no reason other than to say I printed a cat.
Yeah.
Or a fountain pen cup.
I print for fun too, but for the most part, we're more like functional printers. Like my husband is like has a problem, designs a solution for it kind of printer.
So's mine. Yeah. Like, guess the Fusion 360 running 20. Yeah, there you go.
He's trying to teach me that. And I'm like, well, he has talked about teaching me. We flip-flop back and forth because, so I have designed, I had an idea for hinged 3D printed templates. And so for my patterns. And so we sell the digital files for those because it's just too expensive to print yourself to then resell. Like, I'm not doing that. It's too time consuming as well. But so he's the one that designed them per my specs. And so that's why we do the conversions to millimeters and things like that. So I really love that. I love that it's very accessible and things like that. But like, then he'll also go and be like, oh, I need this adapter because he's a serial hobbyist as well. So he also does like some carpentry and stuff for this hose to attach to this thing this whatever,
Our husbands are the same. Yeah.
Like attracts like, I'm pretty sure. It's so funny the amount of people who are sewists or crochetists or things like that, and then also have a gamer and or like very tech smart husband, or spouse, I should say. There's something about my husband, I call it left brain, right brain. We're very much that way. Yeah.
I'm oddly both. It's really weird. Like, I have like the engineer side and then the creative side, and it's just weird.
No, that's fair. I don't have that like tech brain per se. I think I understand enough of it to know to communicate to him what I want or what I need to happen. Yeah. But I can't get there on my own. Like, no, there's a big old wall that's like, do not pass. You shall not pass.
Yeah.
Okay. So now is time for us to learn about Potat.
Okay. Potat. Okay.
Potat.
Well, I can't turn the camera.
Okay.
And besides, hamsters are nocturnal. So Potat is what happens when you fall down hamster talk.
Okay.
And so I had hamsters as a kid. And, you're scrolling through TikTok at like 2 a.m, as one does. And, you're like, oh, look at that stupid little thing. Oh, well, that's cute. Oh, no, that's a cute one. And then it's just nonstop hamster content. And so I got like, kind of obsessed and wanted a hamster. So, but I want, it's a pet. We have 4 cats. They don't come in here, by the way, for the record. My hamster's not being harassed by my cats. So I don't let them in here because fabric and thread. One of them eats thread.
Oh, gosh.
Idiots.
I'm so lucky my cats don't do that.
Oh, yeah. No, $4,000 later, we've realized we should probably shut the door.
No.
Yeah. So, I properly researched hamster care because what they tell you in the pet stores is not right. They need like really big enclosures, like at least 1,000 square inches. And you don't realize that, because you go to the store and they're like, here's this tiny little thing with a cage. And but that's so wrong because they need to burrow and all that, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so all this to say, I spent way too much money on a freaking hamster. But she's a Russian dwarf hamster and she's adorable. And
so does that mean she's tinier than a normal hamster?
Yes. So like a Syrian hamster that you would normally associate as a hamster, they can be about like, about like that.
Okay.
Right. Like a russet potato.
A big russet potato. Okay.
Yeah. Potat is about that.
Okay. So maybe Roma tomato size.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I love that. And she hangs out in your creative space all the time.
Yep, she does.
That is awesome. All right, so what about your 4 cats? What are their names?
Oh, God. Okay. Luna, Diana, Minako, and Ahsoka. So I think you can tell when the Sailor Moon names ended. And we got a cat during COVID under the condition that we started Star Wars names.
Okay. So do you plan to add to your army?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It's a lot of cats, but statistically speaking, I should have one around me every night when I go to bed. So it just happens to be Diana most nights.
Hey, I mean, as long as you have one cat that sleeps next to you. Doesn't matter which one it is, but you do need one to properly sleep. That's what I think, at least, for sure.
And Diana's the one she's on me. Like she's a unintentionally, we adopted all through Austin Pets Alive. I say that because sometimes they take runts that the breeders in the area will dump. Okay. So she's a Russian blue. And Russian blues have a tendency to make attachments, like to imprint on someone, and I'm that person.
Oh, I mean, I love that for you. Like, I'm not going to complain. I would never complain like, oh, darn, you want me to hold you all the time?
Yeah. It's about like, she'll cry at the door and like body slam it sometimes when I'm in meetings.
Oh, and fun.
She's the only one who really is allowed to come in here, but only if I'm holding her.
Okay.
She's the thread eater.
Oh, fun. Yeah, yep. No. I have 2 cats. So I had 2 cats. We lost one, and then I've got a second cat. So Spartacus was the one that we lost. And Gaia, she's still with us, and she's old. She's an old biddy now. But neither one of them ever ate thread, so we got really lucky with that. And then, so Spart passed, and then we have Oliver. Obviously, you could tell I didn't name him. But Oliver, he is hilarious. He also doesn't eat thread, so I got very lucky. So they can come and go as they please, and they don't really ever care about being in here, except for if the door is closed.
What's that?
I don't know. They probably sense we're in danger or something, or like they have bad FOMO, is my guess. But no, and then Gaia, she has an obsession with lint roller sheets. Like, if I lint roll something and I throw that away, I will find my trash can turned over and bite holes. I think it's something in the glue that they use.
That's wild.
Oh, my gosh.
See, Ahsoka, it's hair ties. Like,
okay.
But not like these.
Okay.
But actual, like, the rubber band coated with fabric kind. Like, we have this table downstairs that's in the crook of, like, our winding staircase. That's where we put the Christmas tree. So once a year we slide this table out of the way, and it's got crossed legs at the bottom. And this year we moved it, and it was just a cross of hair ties that had gotten lost in there. So when we moved, we were in Japan for a few years, and when we moved, they moved our couch, and there was about like 40 hair ties just back there as well, and like 10 different like cat like plastic balls with the bell inside or whatever. And it's like, well, that's where they all went. Clearly we never vacuumed that far under there, so thank you, movers. Yeah,
for sure. Okay, so what do you have planned in front of you for the rest of 2023? Anything special?
Oh,
anything
you mean 2026?
Did I just say 2023?
Yeah, we're living in a well, let's see.
Better days.
Oh, God. I try to spend a lot of what time I do have with charity.
Okay.
So I used to, that's the one thing I miss about streaming is through Twitch, I had a really wonderful audience and exposure to fundraising. And I fundraise for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and Starlight Children's Foundation all the time. That very much went away. I do not have that reach on YouTube. And I really do lament that. But at this point, it'd be practically impossible to get it back up to where it was.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm working with my friend, Quill Tony. She's also a streamer on Twitch, but she has a quilting business and quilting patterns, specifically like pixel quilts. So like, yeah, like video game themes and such. And she's turning 50 this year. Bless. And she also does run Disney. And she's going to do a perfect season, but she's going to be raising $50,000 for Starlight. So I'm going to be helping her. I'm going to be doing that. So I will be designing a bag pattern that will be sold, and the benefits will 100% go toward her campaign.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you already know the pattern that you are planning, or you're hoping that comes at some point soon?
I do. I always try to design patterns. Well, not always, because obviously not all of them are like this, but I try to be gender neutral. Like,
okay,
there's so many female gendered bag designs. I try to do, like, the Mighty Messengers, fairly neutral, and then Convention Raider, etc. I try to do that. So I'm trying to come up with something that's kind of like a cross between a Convention Raider and a backpack.
Okay.
In a way.
And so for the listeners, can you explain the Convention Raider?
Oh, yeah.
So it's not very descriptive for bag shape, maybe?
Yeah.
Is that the one that's on the leg?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a hip bag, like a motorcycle bag.
Okay, yeah.
Saddle bag. Something, but it hooks around your thigh, your upper thigh, and around your waist, and it just sits on the side, so you can be hands free, but in a really cool cyberpunk kind of way.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm looking forward to this because it's a cross between a backpack, but also that so like maybe like I don't want to explore my brainstorming and then
and
then
a lot of
give
ways,
away.
I don't look at other people's patterns anymore. I don't keep up with other people's patterns because
Jenny talked about this too. You
Yeah?
don't want to be accused of stealing and things like that.
And I don't want to be subconsciously inspired by someone else's work either.
That's, like there have been times where I have designed a pattern and then I will go back and I will I've only sewn up so many patterns over the course of I'm not a very prolific sewist when it comes to, I haven't sewn a shit ton of other patterns.
Yeah.
But I will be like, well, maybe I was influenced by that idea. Like, I know that I came to this in my thought process originally, but I think that there's some point to where we just have to understand that we see something, as long as we're not intentionally or directly, like, you're going to be inspired. You're going to critically think. You're going to do these things. And sometimes those seeds you planted years ago will pop up. And I don't think that should be held against you or anyone in the community for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it's tough.
It really is. It really is. But it's also like the safest stance that I can take. I know 100% that when I come up with this design, it's coming from my head. And if it looks like anybody else's, oops, it's an accident. Yeah.
It's unintentional. I remember a couple of years ago, there was damn near the same pattern. It was like 2 totes or something. Like, I don't even really remember what the design looked like, but I remember it happening. It was like 2 like handbag totes that had almost the same design that were based off of the same like high-end designer, and they released the same weekend.
Oh my God.
And I was like, and that was when like the stealing things went rampant that weekend. And it was like, oh, that's tough. And they both posted that like it was coincidental, Yeah.
No, well, at least they did that. And, one or the other didn't take advantage of it and start piling on the other person.
Yeah. There are definitely some business owners in our community who can be very accusatory or like very quick to kind of bash another business or customer, which is like, for me, I don't know. Like, I get it if somebody maybe deserves a talking to, but like it doesn't have to be in a public setting.
Yeah. But a chargeback, for example.
Yeah. I mean, like, you can share about it and you can do it, but you don't need to tag the right people. Or like for that chargeback situation, I was one of the people that was charged back on.
Okay. Yeah,
a couple times. The 2 different experiences, the one in like October and the one in November or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, then there was a whole bunch of people that were like, we're going to take legal action against this person. I'm like, you haven't even heard back from the credit card companies yet. You may not be out any dollars.
But I wasn't going to do anything legal about it. Like,
yeah. Well, like at that time, nobody had heard back from the credit card company. It takes 75 days. For those that don't know, if somebody charges you back and you have a Shopify, right? I'm not sure about outside of Shopify. So you get a chargeback, Shopify notices you, and immediately that refund goes to the customer and you're charged a $15 fee. And then you have essentially like 3 weeks or so to submit your side of things. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, anyway,
Proof.
to appeal it. To appeal it. And then it takes, after that submission, it takes 75 days. The credit card company has up to 75 days to then approve or deny your appeal as a business owner. So I got, for both cases, I got one approved. There was two for both cases. Each one of them, no. The first one had 2 orders and the second one had 1 order. And for the first one of them was approved and one of them was declined, but it was like the same justification for both.
I know. That's wild. Like I had like, here's her IP address. Here's her physical world address.
Right. Here's where she downloaded the digital product from that IP address.
Yeah. Here's my disclaimer that says there's no refunds. What the fuck? I was like so confused, but I'm like, whatever. Okay, great.
But so then a bunch of the business owners were like, we want to start like this lawsuit against this person. And I'm like, again, we're still in that 75-day window. I'm not going to go after this person. I don't know what's going on in their life experience. It's not going to make or break my business. How many people steal from a convenience store on a daily basis? Like, we can survive this. It sucks. Yes, it sucks, but you cannot operate your business with the assumption that this kind of shit is never going to happen to you. You have to mentally prepare yourself for this, and you have to determine whether it's worth the fight or not. And if you go through all this and you drag this person under the through the mud publicly, and you're just kind of like slightly unprofessional about it, and then you get refunded all of your fee and the product cost, then like, what was it? To me, it's not how I choose to go forward and interact. Like, it's not worth my energy. It's not worth my effort. And like, for $25, like, yes, it sucks and it's the principle, but like, I would only do that after the fact. But like, granted, other people, it was hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
At the same time.
I think it was like 10 for me.
Like
so
$10?
Like $10, like total.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, it was, want to say it was the Switch case.
Okay.
Portable console case, because I don't own the Nintendo trademark, so you can't say Switch.
Right. The first
trademark law.
the customer actually reached out to me and was like, I had this issue with my mother. We have a very
same person.
Yes. And you know what I did? And I have never said this anywhere except for to my moderators, that I was like, I'm really sorry to hear that. I've submitted my claims back. I've submitted my appeal. But here's a code to get any of my other patterns for free, because that sounds like a really shitty situation to be in. They took me up on it, and they were like, when I get the money, I will pay you back for...
I remember you saying this,
for the patterns. And once they got the money, they gave me the $30 and they paid for the patterns that were in part of the chargebacks, but it was nice because, like I said, one of the chargebacks was not in my favor for no reason. But the other one was. So I ended out on a positive. And like, but if you, before that person ever reached out to me to tell me this, my assumption would have been to drag somebody through not my assumption, but what other people would do in my position would be to be like, rant about it, but like, just give people some space. Give them a chance to see what happened. I would have never expected that to be the situation.
Yeah. No, and she never emailed me. I never named her publicly. So like
same.
That I wouldn't do. Like, but it's more like I put something out, I think on my Facebook page, because I don't have a group, because nope. I get asked all the time.
In my experience, it's a more positive experience than negative, but it definitely has some negative things too. But it all bases on the moderation, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. But I put it more as like a PSA. Like, some people may not realize if you do a chargeback, it is extremely harmful.
Yes.
But it also puts you, like the consumer, at risk, because your bank can come knocking hard on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you are claiming as a customer, let's say you charge back and you claim it's fraudulent. Well, what you're doing is fraudulent. And if when I submit all my information, like people may not know, I can see your IP address. Oh, unless you have a VPN or all this other stuff, but like most people don't know how to do all that stuff. But I can still see what you purchased with in Shopify, and then in FileFlare, I can see when you accessed and downloaded your files. So like,
Yep.
And I have all my return policies. Like, I can see all that stuff. So, like, now you're the fraudulent one, and have fun with that. Because, like, I don't know what that's like because I've never done that, but it can't be fun.
Yeah.
But I think, like, the second of the two chargeback ladies, I think that one was very intentionally fraudulent. And it was like, I'm just going to get my last hurrah because this shit's going to get canceled anyway. Like,
yeah.
Can't imagine what that was like. But, you know, to each their own. If that's what you want to do with your life, Godspeed. Have fun. Okay. Sorry for the rant.
It's okay.
It'd be like that. Okay. So it is now time for the final press pass. So that is where listeners from the Patreon will submit questions for you. The first listener question is from Laurel, and she asks, of course, I'd like to know her favorite pattern, but my main question is how her hamster is liking the hobbit hole.
It is her current favorite place to stay. She has burrowed all up in it. She has like 3 places where she likes to sleep, and that happens to be the number one.
So tell me about this hobbit hole. Did you print it, or did you cut it and assemble it? Or
so
buy it?
Yeah, so I used there's woods, like plywoods that are made with soy-based glues that are safe because hamsters will chew anything.
Okay.
And then I bought like birch dowels that are like 3/8 of an inch or whatever.
Okay.
So it's all like all natural stuff and like safe glues. And I just laser cut the design. I mean, I designed it in Illustrator and then laser cut it and painted it. And I did a video on it just for giggles because, you know, I mean, it wasn't my normal content. I was trying more of like a sewing vlog or crafting vlog style where I didn't have to do my makeup and my hair before getting on camera and turn on all the good lights and like give myself a headache, you know, because I don't want to do this every time.
Same. I like being my sewing room goblin. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I just, you know, can't get away with not doing this anymore like I used to, but it's a different story. Yeah. So she loves the hobbit hole. Thank you.
Okay. What about your favorite pattern?
Oh, it's the Dreamer Pack. I know. Does that sound real? Does it need to be my pattern or someone else's?
It can, whatever your favorite pattern. It doesn't matter if it's yours. Great. I mean,
cut to finish. I can have a Dreamer Pack done in like 2.5 hours now.
That's awesome.
Like just bam, done, and that's with the 3D pocket. So,
nice.
But I like mini backpacks. It's just like it's what I do.
So that's even like you like to make it and also wear it?
Yeah.
As your favorite, both?
I don't even buy those Disney lounge flies anymore. I used to buy them all the time. Like I've got a bunch of them sitting in the closet. You know, the mega themed ones with the faces and crap all over them.
Yeah.
No, I make mine now. Like they stand out and then people are like, wait, that's not a lounge fly. What's that? Oh, what's this Kitten Studio? So and I carry business cards with me, but I don't have any intention of, you know, making them to sell really, you know.
That's fair. I stopped carrying business cards a couple of years ago, and we just went, I'm going to make an assumption here that you know what Dungeon Crawler Carl is.
Yeah. Have you read the Another Fucking Pack? You need to.
I haven't. Are there references in there?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. So we are obsessed.
Yes.
Dungeon Crawler. We are obsessed. Okay.
Yes.
We started listening in early 2024. And like I have talked about it on the show so many times. I need more people to engage with it. Also, there's a big gaping hole world in this, like, for me to purchase a lot of custom fabric, please run Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Right? I am actually shocked. I thought maybe it was my algorithm is like, we need to talk to Olivia about this.
I have.
Okay.
Look, on the show, I said.
Okay, good.
I have
Like-
called her out. She's also a Patreon subscriber, so I will tell her again that she's been brought. If I tell her she's dropped in the show, she's absolutely going to watch. Okay,
Yeah.
this is what happened with Shinova. I was like, "You're in the show. Go listen." But no, she needs to engage with it first. I even told her, all I'm going to tell you is there's a talking cat named Princess Donut. She's like, "All right, sold."
The mega chunk.
Yes, the Queen and chunk.
Yes.
No, we're obsessed. Have you listened to the Sound Booth Theater ones?
I am aware of it, but I actually physically read. My husband has listened. Now, so there's no spoilers. I'm only about halfway through book 4 because I took a smut break.
Okay, fair. I will say that if you are a smut or fantasy reader, some of the action scenes are going to be hard for you as a reader consumer. Like, just because, like, a lot of people like me, I like playing action scenes. I don't like watching or listening or reading them for the most part. So my mind goes blank in some of them, and then it comes back in after the fight's over.
Oh, okay.
So, but there's enough of the rest of that, and there's so many funny moments. Oh my God, you have got to continue on.
I know.
Because there is a very important character that is absolutely freaking hilarious. It's my favorite character, and I could not wait for my friend to get to it. And I'm so good. Please continue on. I won't spoil it. I hate spoilers, but
I do plan to.
okay.
That one I bought the Kindle version, so it's on my Peloton, and I have a reason to run. So I actually like my whole like secret hack to running so much off season is I can read the Kindle while running.
Really?
On my treadmill, yes.
Okay. Can I offer you another solution?
Go for it.
The audiobook.
I know.
I'm telling you, the Jeff Hayes narration will...
Oh, no, he's fantastic.
He will ruin you.
Yeah, no, he is fantastic. My problem is I can't absorb information auditorially.
Oh, no.
So that's,
I get
yeah,
that,
my brain will just, I'll lose it. I'll come back to, like, I can't listen to something while doing something else.
Yeah. No, so I had Laurel, one of the people that just asked a question about the Hobbit Hole. I got her and Tara. I convinced them to listen to it, and Laurel, I think that was her first audiobook, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Oh,
like,
no. That's good. No, that's good. But it's going to
everyone else
ruin
will
her.
fall short.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay, so yes, from that perspective, yes, I'm sorry. Because it'll ruin you. But now they're all starting to do that.
What? I mean, just like, even
there's
the
a bar
basic...
that's been set.
Oh,
right?
yeah. So there's the normal narration, which is fantastic. But then Sound Booth Theater, which is the company that Jeff Hayes runs, they're doing like essentially a dramatic version of it. And so it's got music and sound effects and extra bits in there.
Like an old radio show.
Yes. And it is the music. Obviously, we already know like his narration is like on point and so good as it is, but like his production quality is superb. And so the Sound Booth Theater, like if you could, like they have book 1, book 2 out, and they have book 3 up for pre-order. I believe it's releasing in April. And I'm just like, I'll pre-order. I've already bought all the audiobooks, all the ebooks, all the physical books, and you better believe I'm buying every single one of these. Like
I
Matt
have them
Dinniman,
all in
take my money.
hardback. I am so Matt Dinniman was at Dragon Con last fall, and I went to one of his panels. And it is amazing to hear authors talk about their work. I always love that. Like that's one of the big things I like. But we waited in line for over an hour, and he came out from his panel. He walked up to that particular hotel where the signing was going to be, and it was wrapped all around the lobby and out the door, out the front door and down the sidewalk. He comes in looking like a deer in headlights because he had no idea what he had unlocked.
It has taken off in the last 2 years. When we started, it was at the really, really, like, I don't want to say the beginning of the boom, but it was like expanding outside of his normal bubble, I think.
Yep.
And so over the next year, we started to see it expand more. But over this last year alone, since the release of book 7, really, it is just freaking taken off. Yep. So he released a new book in February called Operation Bounce House. And so we got that. We bought the book signing tickets for that in Austin.
Oh,
and
yay.
the first 400 people were able to get their book signed. Like, that's the first 400 people. And we got there, I want to say, an hour and a half early. And we were number 299 and 300.
Well, at least you got it.
I know.
Like, I mean, I just, I don't put so much emphasis on it. I have signed books by Robert Jordan, like Wheel of Time, right? Hardbacks. So it means a lot to me to have a signed book. I have a very nice custom library built downstairs with the ladder and everything.
Look at you go.
I freaking love it. Yeah, it was my birthday present this year. It was like, I need a place to put all my smut. Thank you.
Yeah. I need my shelf trophies for me. I need my shelf trophies for HubSpot. I don't have a huge library, but
there's I wish I could meet some of the authors for the books I've read over the past couple of years. Like, they're not all smut, right?
Yeah.
And funny, I flipped through a lot of it.
Did you read Legends and Lattes?
No, I have the book though.
Oh, I have. So he narrated a small part in book 6, I think it was, for the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. And he's also a narrator. He was a game developer. Travis Baldry is the name of the author for Legends and Lattes. So he's an audiobook narrator, and he's an author now. Legends and Lattes, I've spoken a lot about. I love that book. Highly recommend. Fantastic book. It's not smut, but it's very cozy. Very, very good. But anyway, so we've never had that many signed copies of anything. Like, I don't really put a lot of stock in that. It's the personalization that is a lot of fun. And so we brought the book that Travis narrated a little section of with us to Travis Baldry's signing. And then it was when we bought that signing that we signed up for the Matt Dinniman one at the same time. So we knew Matt Dinniman was coming, and we brought that, and he was able to write, "Hi, Matt." And then when we brought the book back with Matt Dinniman, he said, "Hi, Travis," and like, that's a lot of fun. Like, little things like that. Like,
that is cute.
The signing stuff, like, it's great to have a signed copy, but it's more fun if you can get the personalization. And so
yeah, exactly.
I totally get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the start of this was for me to say I was at the Matt Dinniman book signing, and I did not have any business cards and was shamed for it. But I haven't carried business cards in years.
Yeah.
So, well, but a second I was getting ready to talk about Dungeon Crawler Carl, I was like, I know this person reads this book. Like, I just know it. I'm going to clock that a mile away. It is like absurdity millennial heaven, if one were to exist.
I'll email you the tote pattern. You need to read it. I snuck so much in there. There's actually a blue ribbon at the very end.
Okay. I have like a lot of themed like little jokes and stuff that I put in my patterns too. And I think that's a lot of fun to do that.
Yeah.
Like in the Rosie at the end of it, I always have like this fun page, just like, do this dumb stuff. And then, take a picture of your friend's bag and then text your friend.
To the end of my videos now too. Like, I'm like, compliment me on my shirt. That's what's going to come at the end of this next one, or compliment my hair, my legs, random things. And then I know it from the comments, like, who listened all the way to the end.
Yes, yeah.
But then you forget. And you're like, why is this guy complimenting my hair? That's so random.
That's funny. That's funny. I love that. I feel like if you have a small business like this, like, why not take the little moments of joy and have the fun? Like, who's stopping you? Who's saying that's not allowed? Nobody. Yep. Like, just do it. It's fun. And if somebody doesn't get the joke, great. They don't have to. Like, it's for me first. Anyway. So, I'm glad we're of like mind here. Okay. So Greg H. This is his first submission, like, comment, I think, period. I'm assuming it's a he, so I'm just saying that. But it's not a question, but I just wanted to share what he commented. I'm so excited you're having Georgia on. Her patterns are a lot of fun, but I learned so much foundational information on how to start my business from her channel. So I thought you would like to hear that.
That means a lot, because I try not to gatekeep the business stuff.
So Shanova and I just talked about gatekeeping last episode.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it's okay for somebody to gatekeep something that's very personal to them, like a personal connection. So for me, it's my reels. Like, I don't want to gatekeep my step-by-step. I gatekeep my personal step-by-step process of how I create them because they're a form of art for me.
Yeah.
But like sources, techniques, things like that.
Like the fabric sources, like what companies people are using. There's two angles I take on that.
Yeah.
I understand it because it does take a while to vet a supplier.
Yes.
And to go through and find out which ones are going to offer the correct fabric for you and the print quality.
Right. You don't want to recommend a bad supplier.
But I got banned from, they call it the free speech group. Like, you probably know the type.
It got closed down a couple of years ago.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. But I got banned because I asked, like, where are you guys printing all this fabric? Like, that was literally it. Like, I wasn't actually like, give me your sources or else. But they banned me, like, no questions. I got a message from an admin telling me, I'm like, oh, Jesus, okay, well, joke's on them. So, like, because I share freely where I've gotten my vinyls printed. I haven't done it in a long time.
Yeah. I think, like, I see both sides of it. I think especially now when that custom business is in the decline, I would say that like maybe you do want to keep those things closer to your chest because in the show we've talked about competition and like there's perceived competition and natural competition, right? And those are two very different things. Natural competition, I will say it again and again, I think it's great. I think it helps drive everyone to be better. And it's okay that it exists. It doesn't have to not exist. But perceived competition is where like people get their feathers ruffled. And, you know, if somebody's going to come and ask you where your supplier is, you give it to them. And then they're going to just steal all of your designs. And then, you know, but like realistically, at the end of the day, within our community, if somebody did that, they would not last very long. So like, you know, I see both sides of it.
Yeah, and I don't fault people if they want to keep things close to their chest. You know, like I don't. It's just not my priority.
Same. Like I said, the only thing I do now is the one thing that feels like it's still mine and it's still my art form. And honestly, the information's you're watching it. You can see how long my clips are. Like you can look at the second count. Like it's it's not like it's rocket surgery, but whatever. Okay, so the last questions, actually there's two from Tara. Okay. And she asks, who all has she cosplayed and what's the longest one of her costumes has taken to make?
Oh my God. Let's see. I did a Sailor Saturn Victorian style. I've done Rey from the third trilogy of Star Wars. Oh my God, I have to keep going back in my head. Who the hell have I done? Well, I did a Fremen from Dune last year. Okay. That was the longest one.
Yeah.
Hands down.
How long did that take?
That was months.
Oh, yeah.
I knew nothing about foam work. Like I have done little, like I did a budget, cheap, funny knockoff Mandalorian a couple of years ago, but I didn't really shape and work with the foam, right? I did everything wrong. And this time I was like, I'm doing it right, like bonkers. And I had somebody had posted the pattern in laserable format, but it was made for a man who was like easily double my girth. And so it like he doesn't have chesticles. It didn't work. So I had to completely redo the pattern.
Oh man.
Yeah. And just to fit correctly. And yeah, months, gods, like working with like cement glue, like the rubber cement. Thank you. The rubber cement, 3D printing, and then airbrushing. Yeah, like props. Never done that. Like all of it was learning.
Yeah, I've never painted anything 3D. People say it's like so easy. You use a couple things, couple layers, and like, oh, it looks like it's nice and shiny. And I'm like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
It's all in the smoothing and the priming. Yeah, that's what I figured out. There's like this glazing putty that you can get for cars, automotive glazing
like
putty.
Bondo?
Yes, that 100% that. Water it down with acetone. Okay. And then brush it on and then sand that. And then you prime it and paint it.
Okay. So
Yep.
I just had a feeling like you'd have to do a lot of layers of spray on primer to really eliminate the layer lines.
Yeah, you get the other thing is you can get like automobile filler, like the
Okay.
Rust-Oleum filler,
Yeah.
and you do that and then you sand it. But I have actually found that stuff will peel off of PLA.
Yeah, because it's not having the adhesion.
Mm-hmm.
Because you really need it to be slightly porous.
Yeah, but
for proper adhesion.
I made a Chris knife that, like, the blade was in two pieces, and you would not have been able to find the seam. It's just
that's
impossible.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But that was the longest one, and I love it. But it is a pain. You can't get into it by yourself. So
can you easily go pee?
Yes, I did design it. I will always design my costumes so I can do that and carry my phone.
Okay, that's awesome. I've never done any cosplaying except for the occasional Halloween costume, of course.
Yeah,
but that's always bare minimum because I am lazy. But I definitely consume a couple of cosplayers, and I always look at the work, even that just goes into like aging materials, like things like that. And I find it really admirable, and more power to you. And it's probably a lot of fun.
I've got a friend who's actually doing a Perpente for very good. He actually posted it in the subreddit recently. Like he sculpted the goat head.
I think I saw him. Was he like sitting on the chair with the...
That's my friend Rev. Yep.
Mr. Perpetente is hilarious. He is a sentient goat ram type man shape.
Yeah.
I don't know what those things are called, but that's what he is. But he screams every so often, which is fantastic in the audiobook. It's like a very sudden, like, blah! Okay. So we're now at the point in the final press pass where it's time for you to ask me a question.
What goals do you have for 2026? Like, where do you see your channel going? Or like, how would you like to see this particular series of videos evolve?
So when I set out to do this, I knew I wanted to do it serialized so that I could force myself to take a break. So I didn't have to continue. Like I had an end goal, which is really easy. It's a lot easier for me. I always have this saying, it's so much easier to walk towards a goal than to walk away from one. Like feeling like you're leaving something behind versus walking towards something. And so for me, having that end goal, the last episode was really easy. And then from there, we'll see if season 2 happens. The listenership was really high in episode 1 for me, like a great introduction. Granted, I did start with Lauren, so like, duh. But I would love to see the listenership grow. I think it's hit its like kind of plateau of like, it was high, it sloped down, and now it's like a continual exposure, which is okay. Like for a brand new podcast that came out of nowhere, with a lot of smaller makers and actually it runs the gamut. It's bigger and smaller, but like people you may or may not know of. For me, I think that I'm achieving the goal that I set out to. I'm having the conversations. I'm having a good time. And I have my full list of people, and I'm kind of checking off those boxes as I go. And so really what I want is I want people to be happy with it like I'm happy with it. And from the people that are engaging with it, like they listen to it the day it releases, they comment, they engage. Somebody just posted, her name is Katrina. She's in Norway. She tunes into my monthly lives, and she is in the group, and she posted, I think it's called cross stitch, where like people like stitch letters or something. I don't really know exactly what she was doing, but the little mantras at the end or like various quotes, she did them on like to hang up in her sewing room or something, like the various quotes and stuff. And it was like so heartwarming. Like she even put the one that I had done where it's like, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it, like
that's a good one.
Yeah. And so, like, just those little bits of impact is honestly all I'm looking for. Like, this was a selfish thing. It was fun. Like, I'll forever get to say that I produced a podcast. Like, that is a little bucket list item I didn't think I would ever get to do or even know that I had. And so, like, I've kind of already done it, Like, that's kind of, I think, where I wanted to go with it. And I'm already doing that here in 2026. So, we'll see when season 2 happens. I don't think it will probably happen until after we move some point in 2027. I said the correct year.
Yeah. I get you though. I do. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the last part, or the second to last part, the penultimate part, is the parting quote or mantra that you would like to leave for listeners. Normally I do mine first. And this one, which is hilarious, it's a Dungeon Crawler Carl quote. Thank you. It's from Princess Donut, and it says, "It's okay to be a work in progress." And I forgot about that. And then when we were at the Matt Dinneman signing, somebody else brought it up, and I was like, I forgot, but that's like so perfect. That's a great one to include on the show, because like you don't have to be perfect every time, you know, and like it's okay to be working on you, on it, on everything at all times. Like progress is progress no matter which way you look at it. So what about for you?
Ask me how I know. Whenever I tell someone not to do something, I will end it with "ask me how I know." And it's usually because it's coming from the wisdom of many years of fucking up.
That's fair. That's fair. So essentially, it's okay to fail because you will learn eventually. And here you are learning.
And
so
I'm still
do
standing.
As I say,
well,
not what
sitting,
do.
but yeah,
That's
I'm
fair.
still here.
Still thriving somewhat. Kind of trying. No, that's funny and perfect. So like, you know, and it's okay to experience those things. It's okay to go through those shitty experiences to get to this side of it too. So that's awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so now where can people find you? The various socials and such?
Yeah. Let's see. It's Fierce Kittens with a Z. The story behind that is,
I meant to ask you about that.
Yeah, when I went to make an account on Twitch, like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, Fierce Kitten was taken.
But
so I was like,
Z.
well, I'll just add a Z because that sounds cool.
That's like a millennial problem-solving tactic right there when it comes to naming conventions.
Right?
Just tack a Z on it. It's all
good. so it's Fierce Kitten with a Z. And that's Instagram, I guess TikTok, Threads, YouTube, and Twitch. The only one that's different is Facebook. That's actually like Fierce Kitten Studio.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, everybody go find, subscribe, and all that stuff. And if you do nothing else, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can watch the seam ripping videos if there are more in the future, or just go back and watch all the other ones because they're a treat. Absolutely a treat. But thank you so much for making the time on this cozy Sunday. And now that you are hopefully done with your filming for the day, you can go back to playing video games, just like I'm going to do the second I get off here.
Yeah, I have spice I need to gather. Yeah.
Fair.
Obviously obsessed with Dune.
I love that. Material or like resource mining in any game is always my favorite part.
Right? Gods. Okay.
All right. Thanks again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. If you are a Dungeon Crawler Carl fan, I need you to tell me in the comments because, as you can tell, I am obviously obsessed about it. It brings me a lot of joy, and I'm so happy to have somebody on the show who knows about it. Oh my gosh, what a joy for me. If nothing else came from that episode, that really made me happy. But obviously, it was so nice to talk about all the rest of it, and just nice to get that perspective. I did want to throw this little disclaimer out there. If you notice that obviously I talked about things that I have talked about in previous episodes, I don't really know how to avoid that when I'm having a conversation with someone for the first time on the show and they are not someone that consumes the show regularly. This was the same thing with Jenny, and I think it's going to happen again because I have some other guests on the show that I just really haven't had a lot of one-on-one conversations with. And so I hope that you as a listener, you don't get too kind of bogged down by the repetition. But, you know, when I'm conversing with a guest, you know, I want to hear their different perspective on something that maybe we've heard about from other people before. But in that conversation, there's give and take. So she's going to give me her perspective, and I'm not just going to not acknowledge it and not kind of share with her since she shared with me. So Unfortunately, there is a bit of repetition there, a little bit of redundancy episode to episode. I'm trying my best to try and navigate some of the conversations to avoid that. But if that is something that is bugging you, please give me that feedback and I'll just see if there's anything else I can do to try and prevent that in the future. Some episodes are really easy to do that with, such as the one with my tax lady. No one's getting that information repeated. But that's not always the case when it comes to an episode like this, where it's someone who is kind of in the same world, operating with the same line of thinking, but I've never talked to before. So it is nice for me to connect with them, and especially because they don't know my opinion because they haven't heard it before. So anyway, a lot of babbling. Sorry, you've heard enough of me. Let's get into the Seam Society shoutouts. Tara V, Jessica A, Hua V, and Nicole H, thank you for supporting Splitting Seams. Olivia C, Stacy K, Jabby S, and Greg H, thank you for supporting the show. Laurel Z, Nyasha J, Ash, and Amanda S, thank you so much for supporting Splitting Seams. Sam W, Eileen, Jess P, Carrie C, and last but not least, Gina S. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And thank you to Gaia, who joined me in my last couple minutes of recording this part of the show. You want to say hi? Okay. So that wraps up another episode of Splitting Seams. Thank you to everyone for listening, consuming, supporting, and commenting. If you can, like, subscribe, review, consider subscribing to the Patreon. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in 2 weeks.